There are very few franchises that I'll pay full price for, but Xeno games, I'll buy an entire console just to play them. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 made me buy a Wii. Xenoblade Chronicles X made me buy a Wii U. Unfortunately, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 left me scratching my head a little. It was good, but not buy a whole console good. Monolith Soft came back and said, "Don't worry, bro, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is here. 2 new Xeno games on the Nintendo Switch, now that's value." Well, is that imaginary voice in my head speaking the truth? Let's find out. In Xenoblade Chronicles 3, people are artificially grown in pods and forced into an endless war between 2 nations. Each soldier's lifespan is capped at 10 years. Survive that long, and instead of retirement, you get a grand ceremony where you peacefully fade into light, the highest honor in their society. A world where best case scenario means dying at age 10? Yeah, something is definitely wrong here. The game's story is bleak, fascinating, and mixes high-concept sci-fi with emotional storytelling that will occasionally punch you in the heart. Gameplay-wise, Xenoblade 3 plays like an offline MMO with massive zones and a ridiculous amount of freedom. You'll often see monsters the size of small countries roaming in the distance. Some of them can one-shot you, but when you come back 30 hours later and destroy the same monster, that's next-level satisfaction. Exploration is addictive. You'll find resources, hidden landmarks, optional bosses with golden wings beside their names, and even battles between factions you can join for rewards. Then there are affinity quests that increase your reputation with locals, unlocking permanent upgrades like faster movement, new allies, and fresh classes. The story is massive. Cutscenes regularly go on for 50 minutes or more, with some fantastic camera work and fight choreography. Even if you skip all of the side quests, you're still looking at over 50 hours of content. Go completionist, and you could easily spend hundreds of hours here. So if you struggle to finish games, this one might test your endurance. Xenoblade Chronicles 3's story is loosely based on the previous 2 entries, but it is not necessary to play the first 2 Xenoblades to enjoy this one. One small detail I really liked: your character actually gets dirty over time, and it even shows in cutscenes. You can wash up at camps. It's such a small touch, but it makes the world feel more alive. Now where the game stumbles a little is in its cast. Generally, the main heroes feel too perfect, and the villains are too evil, so they almost seem like caricatures instead of being actual people. Thankfully, the mystery surrounding their world and emotional weight of the story makes up for more than these shortcomings. Combat looks chaotic, but is actually all about timing and strategy, not button mashing. Characters auto-attack when in range, while you manage cooldowns for your special arts. If you time an art right when the previous attack lands, then you perform an attack cancel. This is visible as a white circle expanding off your character. There are numerous advantages to attack canceling, including building the chain attack gauge and more damage. And if things get messy, fuse 2 characters together to form an Ouroboros, a giant mech-like being that's invincible for a short time. It's flashy, it's overpowered, and it feels amazing. Once you charge up the chain attack meter, that's when the real fireworks begin. During the chain attack, you'll be unleashing cinematic super attacks that can even melt the toughest enemies. If you manage to finish a boss using the chain attack, you get multiple times the experience, which is a lifesaver if you hate grinding. If tweaking builds is your thing, Xenoblade 3 will keep you busy for hours. Any of the 6 main characters can take any of the 6 starting classes, and you can unlock almost 20 more classes by recruiting heroes. You can customize arts, skills, accessory, gems, and even your Ouroboros abilities. It's deep, but considering that you have a 6-party member, sometimes it feels like you're managing a spreadsheet. And yes, you can bring a 7th hero into battle, which makes the screen look like a JRPG rave party, but in the best possible way. Break is a status effect that makes someone vulnerable to toppling. Toppling the enemy will disable them for a few seconds and give you some breather, and you can extend the duration by inflicting daze on a toppled enemy. The break, topple, daze combination is a powerful tool in battle. There are other tools too. When a character casts a buff, it appears as a circle on the ground. You will gain the buff's benefit as long as you stay in the circle. Classes are either tanks, damage dealers, or healers. Take, for example, one of the 6 starting classes called Zephyr. This is an evasion tank, which means your role is to draw the enemy's attention, then try to survive by evading their attacks. The Zephyr class only draws one enemy's attention at a time. This means that the Zephyr class isn't suitable to tank multiple targets. Having to manage the cooldowns of a handful of skills is very reminiscent of a simplified version of an MMO. This game can be a challenge even on normal difficulty. Bosses will kick your butt if you're not prepared, and even mini-bosses can wreck you if nearby enemies join the fight. Thankfully, if you die, you have the option to restart the battle, and the game even lets you go into the menu before the rematch to tweak your party. Now for the not-so-great stuff. Selecting specific enemies can be a nightmare. I often select the wrong enemy, and the chaotic battle visuals and the low resolution make it harder to locate the selection marker. I feel that the lighting system is crippled due to the Nintendo Switch's technical limitations. This means that the lighting looks uniform, washed out, and flat instead of popping out. Even those glowing caves lack shine, because you can't see the effects of the glow on any surfaces. And let's be honest, even by Switch standards, the resolution can be rough. You'll notice fuzziness and texture distortion in certain areas. But none of these flaws ruin the experience. They're just little reminders that Monolith Soft is pushing the Switch way past its limits. The music is fantastic as always. There are over 100 people involved in the music design and production, including full orchestras and choirs. One thing I loved about the music was the integration of the Japanese traverse flute, also called the shinobue. The 2 protagonists of the game send off the departed using the Japanese flute, and many tracks make use of these instruments cleverly. While this game isn't perfect, at the end of the day, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for a great adventure, something that makes me feel awe, excitement, and wonder. And for that, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 delivers in spades. It's not quite as life-changing as Xenoblade 1, or as boldly experimental as Xenoblade X, but it's still a massive, emotional, and unforgettable journey. The size and scope of this game can rarely be found anywhere else. If you love long RPGs, I highly recommend this game. Just maybe, don't buy a whole console only for this one. Dadozy Gaming gives Xenoblade Chronicles 3 a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming.